Hello, everyone. Um, a friend of mine a few days ago told me about this interesting article he read in the New York Times that talks about coronavirus in deer. And basically, this article, the New York Times, references this paper where they sampled specimens from deer and they evaluated the retropharyngeal lymph node samples collected from 151 free living and 132 captive deer in Iowa during this time period. And they found out that a significant portion of the deer were positive for COVID. What does this mean? And they did genotyping, and it is the same COVID virus that humans have. It's not a separate deer COVID virus. It's the same virus. So they're either getting it from us, somehow they're getting it from us, or they're getting it from another animal that got it from us and giving it to the deer. Um, then when I looked further, it looks like the USDA has been doing this for a while, and they sampled a bunch of samples from deer between January of 2020 and March of 2021, and they found that the detection of the COVID antibodies varies by state. So in Illinois, 7%, Michigan, 67%, New York, 19%, and Pennsylvania, 31%. So these are white-tailed deer. And what this basically shows is that we are in a we are in the endemic phase of this virus. Like, I think there was a time when, if we had acted very early and very effectively, you could have eradicated this virus, or if vaccine rollout had been faster and quicker, maybe we could have gotten herd immunity and eradicated the virus and isolated it. But I think at this point, it's pretty clear that we are beyond that point. The disease is endemic. We are never going to clear this thing. It's never going away. We're going to have to learn to live with this thing. There is a large animal reservoir. People interact with deer. Deer hunting is a very common and popular activity in the United States. And so the virus is going to jump back and forth between deer and other animals and humans. And no amount of vaccination, no amount of social distancing. I mean, unless we do a complete lockdown and kill off all the animals. But basically, we are not eradicating this disease. And this finding that large proportions of deer have COVID is just another data point that says that the disease is endemic and it's not going away. And so I think we should kind of approach our lives and policy as well um, based on that mindset. Um, so, what does that mean? I think high risk people should definitely get vaccinated, and then everyone sh should think about optimizing their health so that when the eventual exposure happens, that you will have as mild a disease as possible. Um, and the optimization of our health is not, you know, it's not a mystery. Everyone knows what you need to be more healthy. Comorbidities like obesity, diabetes, these are things that we know predisposed to bad outcomes with COVID, and not only COVID, but pretty much any other disease. And so, working on those, if you have those comorbidities, working on those helps. And then it's been very clear that there's a lot of things that make for worsening disease, such as vitamin D deficiency, and people talk about quercetin, N-acetylcysteine, zinc, all those things. And people think that supplementing themselves with these things is going to help them, and it might if your diet is really poor. But basically, that's a band-aid way of approaching it. And we need to think a little more holistically about improving your health overall. So, the way I'm approaching it is, yeah, the disease is endemic, and we need to think about it as an endemic disease that's going to be with us forever. We're probably never eradicating this thing. This is going to become yet another type of respiratory virus that we just have to deal with. And this data showing that it's common in deer is just yet another data point that shows that we just can't get rid of it. We're not going to go vaccinate all the deer in the country, that's for sure.